Hello. So today I'm on the Zoom. This is Zooms in six. Simon Nott Zooms in six. And before I go any further, if you do like these not interviews, these chats, please like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. So today I'm joined by Craig Edwards, who's in Grimsby. Craig, thanks very much, mate. We spoke before. You're a ex-professional snooker player and a successful golf and snooker punter and successful tipster. At least you were last time we spoke. Is it still the case?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much my profit margin each year is, around about 20%. I think I've dropped below it 2 years down to about 15. And overall, I think I'm running at about 26%. And that is over 14,000 bets now. And they're settled at Bet365 prices. So, yeah, it's still pretty constant. The swings are still as big as ever, probably bigger. I mean, I ended last year quite poorly for the last 3 or 4 months. Having had Thrift and Lawrence place in the Open at 750s. After that, the year was quite hard, but that comes with my style a bit. I do tend to go for the bigger price stuff, and that I don't play the top of the market as much as other players. I just find it easier to find the margin lower down the market. So, yeah, I think so. My snooker is running at about 16%, and that keeps it kind of battened down a little bit. Although, to be fair, I've probably been doing better on the snooker outrights than I've ever done. So that would also mean I'm not doing as well on the snooker match betting. So there's always something you've got to do better. And that said, the Bet365 snooker compiler is changed or improved out of all proportion since we last spoke, Simon. So that has definitely made the match betting harder and tighter and less exploitable than it was. Although there are some of the softer markets, side markets that are exploitable that I still leave alone, because effectively, if I give them out to my subscribers, it'll kill the market within a day. And, sometimes they'll take the side market down if that's the case. So, yeah, it's just a constant evolving battle, isn't it, really? And they've definitely, I think as a firm, Bet365 have tightened up across all ranges. I mean, they're brilliant for golf. I mean, they led the way with the 8, 10, 12 place markets. And that started about a year and a half ago. I mean, it took many of the tipsters and didn't even notice it for a year. And that allowed bettors to spread the stakes easier into their markets. And, they would set them on a Monday. And that leads the way in golf betting. And I have to say, I think golf betting's better than it was 2 years ago. I think there's more liquidity. I think the bookmakers now, well, I don't think I know, because you can tell by odds checker that on Tuesday and Wednesday, it's all red and purple. They're all pushing their prices out because they've taken a lot of money early Monday, through Monday, early Tuesday, and then they're obviously having to make their own books. And, if you went back 2 or 3 years, the markets were quite weak. They were following Bet365. And now it's pretty obvious that the likes of Sky Bet, Betfred, Ladbrokes, all that do the different place markets, are actually trading throughout the week. And their figures would suggest that that's what's happening. So, yeah, I think for golf betting, pure volume must have picked up markedly. It's become so popular. I'd like to see the turnover. I guess it would be obviously way behind horses and football still, but I'd like to see how it competed maybe against tennis. So that point of view, that's really helped things.
Have you changed your approach then because there's that more volume around? Do you go in earlier?
Yeah, so well, I've always gone in pretty much if needed on the first show at Bet365. So subscribers would always have that option, and on the Monday they go up, I'd already make mine assessments over the weekend before, and I mean most of the early blue has always been mine on Odds Checker. I think there's Brad now. He's very good. He's a good tipster, and I think he's affecting it.
Who's that?
Bradley Todd, and so that early blue, and then of course you've got the Sporting Life and the Racing Post later in the day and through Tuesday, and that drives certain prices down, and then I'm betting more on a Wednesday now. I'm definitely betting more late Tuesday and a Wednesday, so just snipping the early markets on the Monday where possible, because we know you're going to drive them prices down in general, not always. Sometimes they come back as well nowadays, so if there's only me like them by midway through Tuesday, then they start going back. So it gives you more options. And so, like, I'm able to keep my powder dry more for a Wednesday. I mean, this week, for example, I'd put up Aberg early Monday because he kind of met the threshold that I wanted. Never been able to back him. He's never been big enough price. And yesterday you could back him at slightly bigger, one click bigger. So, if I'd have waited, it don't make too much odds at his price, but it just shows that the markets have changed now, and they are trading right through to the golf starts. And I think the bookmakers' golf markets must be more robust than they've ever been, but the exchanges are probably slightly weaker. Well, the Betfair exchange is weaker. It's still viable, but it's not as buoyant. Although Matchbook has improved and probably taken some of them market makers away. And so, if you can spread through into Matchbook, I think Matchbook are a better brand. I'd like to see them, do a few more markets, because I do think Matchbook are a better brand for punters than Betfair, just purely because of these stupid checks that Betfair impinge on people and what have you, that are just it makes them unapproachable to when people get back accounts, they get accounts locked up for 6-9 months, and there's no one there to really be a voice of reason, whereas at Matchbook, if you've got a problem, you tend to get it sorted within a day, and that's kind of what you want to be expecting if you've got a lot of money in there, isn't it?
Okay, now you've mentioned Bet365 a fair bit. Do you still get on with them yourself?
No, my account was long gone, and so I have to use family, friends, and Bet365 have tightened down as well markedly in the last 2 or 3 months. I think with what's going on with AI. AI across the football, the tennis, the horse racing must be hitting them hard. And, so accounts now, you've got to be even smarter. I mean, I've always been able to, unless I do something stupid, get quite a good longevity out of accounts. But now, if you go and have, I don't know, 80 quid on an obscure football market, which is not a lot of money, you could end up losing that account. So there's they have tightened up, no doubt.
Are they using AI? Is that what you're saying? They're using AI to spot things, or AI
No,
tipsters
it's the
are doing this?
AI tipsters that are on top of them, really. Especially you won't see it on the main football. You won't see it on English football. You might see it on the non-league a little bit, but mainly it's around the world. On all the obscure markets, they're light years in front of the bookmakers, and they are. I can only assume that it's knocking and bandy. I mean, at my small little bit of it, has been quite incredible. I mean, I've been amazed at AI, to be honest with you. It's been, you think. I often thought, how will it apply to betting? And you can't really have a robot because there's so many in my sports. There's so many human factors involved that a robot can't see, compilers can't see.
What then, Craig?
Well, yeah, for argument's sake, just everything that's going on in someone's life can affect them on the table, on the golf course. That confidence, the ebbs and flows. I can watch a player play in position. I can even tell by the fact of how tight his positional play is to how much, whether he's slightly settling for the pot over position. And that tells me that when they're slightly settling for the pot, that they are not quite as confident. They're not at their peak. And so, I can see that with my own eyes, and a compiler would never be able to see that. Never.
Would AI would be more effective on a team sport where each individual is going to be.
Yeah. And they must be running it on these lower leagues, and they must be, it's just madness. And so they're running it on that, they're running it on tennis. It's great in the short term. People can make a bit of profit, and I am definitely making some profit. But, in the long term, we really would like the industry to survive and be fair all round. And so that must have put the firms on the back foot.
So are you following other tipsters, AI tipsters yourself?
Yeah. So it's I'm at home by my computer, so you might have a window of 30 seconds, you might have a window of 2 minutes to get on, and you kind of you get on, and the price is already driving down. And,
I've seen some of the I've seen some of the bets I think you're talking about. They come in, it'd be like the Turkish second division and stuff like that. So it's gonna stand out to any bookmaker if it's a flurry of bets for. On the other, So, and similar to your, you're good enough to send me your bets, and a lot of your stuff is if people are going to know it's your clients. After you've put your message out, because they're big prices.
That's right.
Prices often.
Yeah.
So is it? Have you lost subscribers because they've been winning and they've been spotted and they've been zapped? Is that trouble for you to get a continuous income with your tipping?
Yeah, I think that for human tipsters like me, probably AI is going to shorten your time frame. Maybe I don't know if they'll ever be able to apply it to snooker. I'm going to try myself in this next year to see if I can, in some way, learn AI and trying to apply some kind of model, if it's doable. I'm a bit of a dinosaur with tech, as we just see signing on. So that'll challenge my patience. But yes, I think and it's almost made. I think it's almost made an unfair edge for the punters, and so the bookmakers. Although I can be very critical of some bookmakers and their what they do, they must be under the cosh. They must be hemorrhaging money with this.
You're not feeling sorry for those dastardly bookmakers, are you, Craig?
Do you know,
you've been spending your life trying to beat them for the last 20
bookmakers
years.
that have destroyed my accounts and what have you, and pulled the similar tricks that maybe I do when I use other proxies. They're fair game to me, but equally, I have still a few accounts in my own name with people, with normal accounts like Star Sports and Jeff Banks, and I try to just bet reasonable stakes in them accounts, and I don't bet them things. I might just have a few horse bets or something, and it's a case of it's the Wild West, isn't it? It's dog eat dog, really. But I think you almost got to treat bookmakers how they treat you as a punter, and make your decision from there, really.
It's interesting that you're following these football. I'm assuming that the football tipsters you're talking about is similar to the people I've spoken to recently. So are you making your living punting and doing your subscriptions?
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to make. I never thought it would go that well, my subscription. So when I started 8 years ago, I was quite amazed, really. And so I am still probably at the same database I was when we last spoke, I would imagine. I think it's gone up in between and down, up and down, and that often depends on results. But touch wood, I am kind of at that same level, which is fine. I mean, I'm only a small. My members have to get on, so I can't. I'm not going to be able to sell the tips if the price. I mean, and the prices do go quick. Just this morning, I think just now, I sent out a bet. Let me just have a look if it's gone. And it's to have a service, your members have to be able to get on, and so it is ideal. And sometimes I think when I've done well, I've got too big, and then of course the other thing is that I don't really hard sell it. So I've got my long-term subs, touch wood, and they're all kind of, they just renew each year, and they're obviously quite happy, and they're obviously keeping their accounts going, or getting enough proxies. Monthly subs in general, not always, but I would say monthly subs, their glass is already half full by the time they join. So it is a long-term commitment if you want to make money. And, there's lots of reasons, good reasons why they wouldn't, because, if you can't keep accounts and you haven't got identities to use, that's a real problem. I mean, my stuff is workable on the exchanges, no doubt about it, especially the golf. I mean, only really the snooker money lines is doable on the exchanges. If you want to bet snooker outright, you really got to bet them with the bookmaker. So,
Okay.
I'm a little bit more limited on snooker than golf. But yeah, so just had basically, I mean, touch wood, my retention rate is pretty good, I think, amongst. I mean, I've got quite a few members that have been there for the full 7 or 8 years. So
Okay. Now, when we talked about doing this, you started ranting, didn't you?
what about
So you started ranting about stuff that I didn't really understand. So I said, well,
right?
you can get anything off your chest that you want, as long as this is Craig Edwards saying it,
Yeah,
not me.
absolutely. Yeah, I
So
mean,
I haven't got anything anyway, so there's no point suing me. But if you want to get stuff off your chest, Craig, this is your moment.
well, the firms would be welcome to sue me. I would bet my house and the whole lot against them because I've got that much evidence. So I think really what's happening in the industry is that there's a lot of data sharing, and I noticed Jeff Banks tweeted as much the other night. And definitely Skybet must be sharing data with Unibet. There is no other way around it, and they are employing some top of the range spyware to track people. I mean, literally, VPNs, whichever way you want to do it. I thought they would pretty much, you were pretty safe, but they're pretty good. So
You were feeling sorry for him a minute ago.
well, no, I am. I'm quite happy to. I mean, with Skybet, my relationship changed with them in the summer. They kind of always never put their prices up until I'd sent my first lot of tips out. And then suddenly my account, which had been reopened when I'd started tipping, and it capped. I mean, it was capped. I mean, I could bet every bet to win. I think it was 2,500.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Suddenly I can't, and it's suddenly shut. And then, I did have a couple of proxies that I'd used previously in the years prior before it was reopened, and I reopened them, and they got shut. And they get shut. It's a trading decision, and there was a big thread. I think a chap called Phil and the Smart Betting Club got involved, and I had to make the SAR request for all the unsettled bets because there was a lot in my accounts. And they did that. And they first off said to me, you can't have your money until they're all settled. But, I've since found that you can ring up and they can send it as it settles. But so in effect, that's fine. They made the decision. They made the decision that you can't bet with them. You can't bet the proxies with them. But within a week, Unibet had done the same across the whole range of my accounts, but Unibet just take the money. So they're not attached to IBAS or whatever. No one's regulating Unibet. It's Ecogra. It's like if you're employed by a big organization, they have a disciplinary procedure. Well, the Ecogra is a whitewash. AK Betts came on and said the same on Twitter, funnily enough, that he's never known a case win against Ecogra. So the punters have got nowhere to go. And I would say to punters that, if you're like me and you are betting seriously, I would give Unibet a wide berth unless you're prepared to write off whatever money you've got in there if it goes wrong. That's what you've got to do. And there's no doubt that they're also taking the same prices very much on the golf and stuff, and they have been for the last couple of years. So they're very attached between the two, except you will get your money with Sky Bet. You will not get your money with Unibet. And that is it. At the end of the day, you could, with my son-in-law, who's Irish, lives in London, he would put some bets on for me. And the others would be proxy that mainly I would do it. And, from the advice I've got, he still ain't going to win his case. And, for the sake of what it is in there, I think it was about 800 quid. I've just got to write it off, and, I wrote off the other accounts as well. They didn't have as much in there, but there's no recourse with Unibet. And, if you read into the firm and what they've been doing for a number of years, it's nothing new. And so, effectively, Unibet are a black market bookmaker, aren't they? There is no one regulating them.
Do you dip your toe into that, the black market, as in WhatsApp, bookies, that sort of thing?
Yes, a little bit. Yeah. A kind of case of needs must, really. I have to build in that situation with Unibet. Touch wood, I've not so far. I've only kept it very small. But I am betting with crypto, which is which I think is going to be an option for people. And that will be a more secure option, I suggest.
But they won't like punters like you that win them, will they, ultimately? Would you be confident of getting your money?
No, I'd prefer to bet in a regulated market. I would, in an ideal world, Simon, bookmakers would sign you up. They would say, this is what you can bet on each market, whether it be, horse racing's more robust. You can have £100 a race, £50 a golf event, whatever it is. And then you have to stick to them limits and you sign up at that. And, if you want to then have some affordability checks, if you want to go up but have it as a binding thing between bookmaker and punter, and then the punter has to respect the bookmaker's position. And, if I'm happy to sign up with a bookmaker at them limit, whatever limits they say, and then if I do it wrong and then I want to bet through proxies, then that's my greed. And, that's my risk. And it would be better to just bet normally. And like those golf markets I'm discussing where the bookmakers trade the money, definitely Sky Bet used me for a number of years. Before, I think it was end of July when this all happened. And, they definitely opened it. That's fine. I'd allowed them to use me as well. So,
well, they were paying for the privilege. What they let you bet on to win £2.5 grand.
Yeah, of course they were. But, you know, and you know me, most of the time I use the account for the crossed each way doubles, and you know, they managed to miss most of them in the last year or two. So it was the last time I got a good one up in them, it was my my mum's old account in her 80s. So that was a real problem getting that money out many years ago. So, but yeah.
You're feeling sorry for them in one hand and you're tucking them right up in the
Well,
other,
no,
aren't you?
yeah, exactly. No, I think, you know, if you're a punter and you took them up, don't, you know, I can't complain about Unibet in that. I'm just trying to warn people. But in an ideal world, you know, if a bookmaker's been fair with you, there's no reason not to be fair with them. That's just business, isn't it? You know, it's like when I had the shop. You know, I never had a supplier go without payment and what have you. Business is business, and you know, you could have a better relationship if this thing that's going on is almost missing the point that, you know, people should be allowed to bet. If I mean, I'm not in prison, I've not done anything wrong in my life. I should be allowed to have a bet, but bookmakers should be allowed to set the limits as well. And you know, it's my choice whether if they set the limits and I say, yeah, that's fine, then, you know, if I'm greedy and then decide to bet with that bookmaker through proxies, if they can prove it, let them keep the money. If they set fair limits and people are, you know, happy to do it. But
They should be allowed to keep the money because I would have thought, being the old school, once they've struck the bet, it doesn't matter who the money's come from, they've struck that bet. I mean,
yeah,
their problem is to spot you before they've struck the bet. Once
yeah, of
they've struck the
course.
bet, any bet struck should be honoured. Shouldn't you paying on? You're not asking for credit.
No, that's right. Exactly. And I suppose it's easy for me to say because I've always been the guy that bets a lot of bets at big prices.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I don't bet massive sums of money. But I can, you know, I can create some liabilities with a bookmaker for them. So, but you know, whereas, you know, you won't see me ever having a 4-figure bet on a 6-4 shot or something. Just not interested.
Now,
So
there's been a lot of swings and roundabouts in this conversation. So overall, would you say it's better or worse now for you than it was when we last spoke? Was it about 3 years ago, wasn't it?
yeah, I would say I'm a more profitable bettor. Getting on is worse. Getting on is no better. But I am managing. But I'm lucky. I've got a big family. I've got a lot of grown-up kids. You know, my wife's got a lot of sisters, a lot of nieces, and they've all grown up with it. So, like, you know, you can't just take someone's identity to bet with and expect them to be comfortable with it. If someone says, no, that's not for me, you've got to respect it, you know. And I have had family members, well, my brother, he said to me, no, it's not for me. You know, he knows what I've done for years. It's nothing new. But of course, you know, kids are happy. They're happy. They make a few bob. And, you know, they're young kids as well. So they can go through all the verification that bookmakers need that drive me mad. You know, but what you're finding in this world is that the soft books are the ones doing the verification and they're all hiding behind it. The main books just do it properly still, you know, and they don't really ask for it. So
Have you branched out to it? I was interested that you follow the other tips for the football.
yeah.
Do you sort of follow many? Do you pay for other people's information for like horses, stuff like that?
Yeah, there's a couple of services I pay for, definitely. And they are very good. Again, AI services at the moment, because they've taken it on to a new level to me. So, you know, and the thing is, with me working from home, I do have the time. I don't always have the energy.
Down the betting shop to get the horse bets on, then that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've got a couple of runners as well. So, you know, that kind of helps me and what have you. So I can get a fair bit of business done in cash. But yeah, it's hard work. I mean, I'm 56 now. I mean, I feel like I'm ready to slow down. And I mean, we're hoping to sell up in a few years and travel. So at that point, I'm going to slow down and it's going to be, you know, no more, I suppose.
You'd be tapping away in Thailand with Brett Lloyd.
Well, I mean, I think my service will become like the Wild West. Then I'll just allow the people that stayed with me for years. I won't charge them, and I'll just have a group, and I'll just send the stuff as I bet it, and people can get on it if they can get on it, and if they can't, they can't. And by then they'll know me. Got no spreadsheet to take, but equally, I mean, I won't be like some of these bettors where it's a lump job or something you see on social media now, but. I suppose it could be fun, but I think it is quite flat out doing two sports. I've got to say, like Thursday today, I literally don't do anything because I'm like done. I'm done for the week. It's like Saturday, late Saturday, and then through Sunday, I'm already working on the golf for the coming week, so I'm prepared. And then pretty much Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm busy doing all that and the other stuff. And then today, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to walk the dog this afternoon after I've spoke to you and just enjoy the day with the missus, really. It's it does burn you out. I mean, like, I definitely, I don't know how much longer I'll be able to go at this pace, really.
All right, mate. Well, don't burn yourself out. Enjoy the rest of your day relaxing. Thanks very much for giving up nearly 40 minutes of it.
Is that 40 minutes gone?
Well, actually, I haven't taken off the time it took you to faff about to get your microphone working. Anyway, it's been great talking to you, Craig. Just let people, if anybody wants to sign up to you, where do they find you?
Edwards Tips .co. I think, I don't know, Edwards Tips. If you Google it, it'll take you there. And I've got a new high liquidity service that I've just given a soft launch to. That's just Wednesdays only, one email. I have trialed it for 18 months, but I am and it was profitable, but it's a soft launch because it's still, But if someone wants to have 6 or 8 bets on the golf, there might be the odd snooker selection for one of the, majors. Then if they want to have just a smaller volume a week, and be able to get on a Wednesday and be able to get their money on, heavier money, then that's probably, I'm finding some people are changing over to that.
Brilliant. Okay, Craig. Well, thanks very much. People can Google to find you. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, and use that to talk, Simon.
And we'll speak again when you're on the beach in Thailand, probably.
No, I'll be travelling. It'll be more likely for me. It'll be travelling in the camper van. Well, not. I hope it won't be a camper van. I can't fit in one then. So,
okay, mate. Well, thanks very much for your time, and we'll speak to you soon. That's Craig Edwards. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks,
and if
Simon.
you do like these interviews, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.